I definitely think that the way the world is set up this day and age, it is really hard to view yourself in a good light because you can't do the things that I feel like society puts pressure on you to be able to do. Hello everybody, welcome to ArdelleVision, where I, Ardelle, take you, my lovely visionaries, on a journey to capture the vision of my life in hopes to inspire you to do the exact same thing. Now, if you are new here, hi. Welcome. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click that little gray bell to be notified the moment I upload another video every Wednesday on all things ADHD, mental well-being, and personal development. Now, today we're going to be talking about a video that was requested by you, my lovely viewers, on Instagram. We are going to be discussing ADHD and executive functioning because we're all out here trying to function. What is executive functioning? I didn't even know before I looked into this. I knew that it was something that us ADHDers struggle with, but I never even researched the definition. Executive functioning is the brain's ability to organize, remember, and use information. Clearly, us ADHDers struggle with that from time to time. Some people call it executive function disorder, but according to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, also known as the DSM-5, executive function disorder is not really a disorder. It is more a sub-symptom of other disorders like autism, ADHD, depression, anxiety, dementia, and things of that nature. It's not a standalone disorder per se. Basically, most of people's problems that have ADHD are problems with executive functioning. That is us in a general nutshell. Obviously, there's so much more that is at play with people that struggle with ADHD, but executive functioning is the crux of our problems and the core of our issues. And people with ADHD have a weakness in these key mental skills, which are as follows: planning and organizing, concentrating and controlling mental focus, analyzing and processing information, controlling emotions and behavior, remembering details in your working memory, managing time, multitasking, and problem solving. Obviously, not every single person relates to every single thing on that list. I know some people that have ADHD that are very good at organizing and they are very hyper-focused when it comes to organizing, so you might not relate to that. Those are the things that having executive functioning capabilities is, and if you don't have good executive functioning, obviously you're not going to be good at a lot of the things on that list. Not being good at a lot of those things is pretty much not being good at adulting. I definitely think that the way the world is set up this day and age, it is really hard to view yourself in a good light because you can't do the things that I feel like society puts pressure on you to be able to do. I know that for me, myself, I definitely beat myself up for the things that I'm not always good at. I'm not really a good organizer. I'm not really a good planner. I'm not a good time manager. I'm late. I have issues with problem solving. I don't always know how to stay focused on something long enough and to not change my mind about something in the moment. Even just a simple thing as, for me, what to film a video on, I'll change my mindset on what I want to film a video on so much that even while I've decided to film a video on something, in the moment of filming a video, I'll be like, oh, this is not a good video topic. But I have to actively remind myself to stay on topic and to stay focused on what I already committed to, because obviously if you struggle with executive functioning, you also struggle with staying on top of things and staying with whatever it is that you set out to do. And these skills and the executive functioning skills are all controlled by a part of the brain called the frontal lobe. I'm sure many of you have heard of this. The prefrontal lobe is pretty much the part of the brain that controls your important cognitive skills in life as a human. As I've read, it's pretty much the control panel of our personality and our ability to communicate and feng shui in life. I feel like if you can sum up executive functioning into the simplest bite-sized piece, it's pretty much an issue with self-regulation. And I read, which blew me away, that ADHD is and also should be considered self-regulation deficit disorder, which that to me definitely I feel like sums it up in a better way, because attention deficit is not accurate because we have no problem giving our attention to certain things. Obviously, we can pay attention to certain things, it's just not the right thing, which is an inability to self-regulate. You can't regulate how much you pay attention to a video game or how much you're binging on Netflix or how much you're binging on your phone and social media. Getting executive functions under control by self-care and self-management and or medication is key and vital for the survival of people that have ADHD in the modern society that we live in today. For me, holy moly, having a YouTube channel about ADHD is so difficult for me to manage everything, to prioritize my time, to not procrastinate, to time manage, to have a realistic time frame of what it'll take to film, edit, do the research on a video, planning and organizing a video, organizing my weekly ideas of what's going to be coming out ahead of time. Concentrating and controlling my mental focus while working on each video is just a feat in and of itself. And then the information that I'm absorbing, I get so overwhelmed at how much information there is. I don't know what I should keep in and what I should cut out because I want to put all of it in each video, but obviously that's not possible and it doesn't make sense. And I know this, but I have a hard time managing it. My executive function skills are not functioning at full capacity. Also, filming these videos, I have to organize and then absorb a lot of information and then trying to remember the information that I'm learning and then regurgitating it back to a camera without forgetting all the details. It's frustrating and it's difficult at times, especially in editing when I realize I said a word wrong or I didn't execute a sentence properly or I messed up communicating. It's difficult. So self-talk is a problem with this. Like, I am super negative and hard on myself because I feel like, why can't I do it all correctly? Why can't I get it all straight? Why can't I remember things? Why can't I be organized? Why can't I be more on top of things? Why can't I be more efficient? And I compare myself again to my neurologically normal peers. And I myself am trying to do the best that I can with my lack of executive functioning. And I just am so dang hard on myself. And it's really, really, really not fair. All the while, I'm trying to problem solve my ADHD diagnosis, and that is not easy for somebody with ADHD. It is an uphill battle. It's 2 steps forward and 1 step back, I feel like, with having ADHD and executive functioning problems, especially trying to just like keep a household down. Even just living alone, it's a problem. Trying to stay on top of my health, my cat's health, my budget, my finances, my ADHD channel, my social media accounts, my personal life, my friendships, my family, and just all of that all the time. Every time you drop a ball, you beat yourself up, and it can be a challenge. I don't want to be like a negative Nancy or a Debbie Downer or not have hope, because I definitely am proud of myself that I am better than I used to be. And I definitely think any progress is better than no progress. But at the end of the day, it is something that is a challenge with having ADHD, which is executive function issues. Like, I feel like even when I film my videos, like the way I execute my sentences aren't proper and they don't make a lot of sense. So then watching them on edit and like going back and editing them, I get frustrated at myself and I'm like, why can't you execute a sentence even properly? But at the end of the day, this is somebody with ADHD talking about ADHD to the best of their abilities. So I'm not going to always get it right, because no human does, but what better person to talk about ADHD than somebody with ADHD, and who better to relate than anybody that has ADHD and or other people that have mental disorders, mental health disorders, because it is a community that affects about 1 billion people on the planet, people with mental disorders. And there is a certain side of it that it's just like, I get it. I don't have what you have, but I get that my brain doesn't work to the exact strength that other people's do. So about 1 in every 7 people has a mental health disorder, and not all of us get help, and not all of us make the mark, and not all of us are the best, and not everybody's gonna be, but we all definitely have a gift. We all definitely have a strength. We all definitely have a voice. And I'm really grateful for whoever reached out to me to talk about executive functioning, because I definitely learned a lot about executive functioning and myself, and realize that it doesn't just affect people with ADHD, it affects a lot of people that have mental disorders. So executive functioning is no joke, and it causes a struggle in this modern society that we live in, because it definitely puts a lot of pressure on the way that you should live in society nowadays, especially depending on what country you live in and where you're from. Being a certain way is just the way to be. I definitely am grateful to learn about it. Knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you can have grace on yourself. So thank you to my viewers for continuously supporting me and for watching my videos. I love you so much, my lovely visionaries. Please, if you have any comments, suggestions, questions, concerns, you know where to put them in the section below. If you like this video, let me know by giving it 1 big thumbs up. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, and I hope you all have a good rest of your week. Don't forget, you are in my prayer, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.